Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content. One of the things that made me nervous about all of the moves that the Cavs were doing was if you had been paying attention to the Cavs since after the Christmas Day game, where it felt like a lot of people gave up on the Cavs, right? They had actually been playing good basketball. I think it really started with that Spurs game on the road where they won against Wemby. And if you look at the results since that game, they've been a 722 win percentage team. They've been 13. Well, actually now they're 14-5 in that stretch. And they've been on a 60 win pace if this is how they had played from the beginning of the regular season to now. Which means that, the Cavs had been correcting the course. Were they as dominant as they were last year at times? No, but they were back, not like on track to win 60 games this season. Too much has happened, but they were back on a pace in the last month that suggested that they could win 60 games if this is how they played from the beginning, which is kind of what we expected the Cavs to look like this season. But regardless, they decided to make all of those moves. And my immediate concern was, okay, we're adding a lot of moving pieces to this rotation, right? Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, James Harden. We'll see how that gets acclimated into this. Is that going to have a major disruption to what's been going on? Because recently, it's been the emergence of Jalen Tyson, right? The Cavs have been able to get on this 14-5 run, win 14 of their last 19 games, and it's been despite Darius Garland having a second toe injury. It's been in spite of Evan Mobley missing a month and Max Strus being out for another month, right? Like the Cavs were still getting hit by the injury bug, but they had just been playing better basketball. So my big concern was, okay, we made a lot of moves. How are they going to look after they made those moves? Was it going to have a serious disruption to what it is? Because it had been so long. I mean, the beginning part of the season felt so long as they tried to figure this out, and it felt like they finally figured it out. But then once they figured it out, they made giant changes. So, you wouldn't be wrong for being a little concerned, But the Cavs against a Clippers team that had been pretty hot, right? Like we're talking about since December 20th, this is a basketball team that's been 17-5. That is a 63 win pace if you go for 82 games at a 773 win percentage. So this isn't a team that has been playing as bad as their record had been reflecting, even though their record's under 500. They had been playing some pretty good basketball for about the last couple of months here. And the Cavs absolutely demolished these dudes today. There's no other way to put it. The Cavs beat these guys down. It was a blowout from the first quarter. It got a little close at the beginning of the second quarter, and then the Cavs brought it back out. They brought the belt out by the end of the second quarter, and then the third quarter was belts to ass, and the fourth quarter was belt to ass. The Cavs won the first quarter 36-18. And that was a margin that the Clippers were never able to successfully make up for. They ended every quarter, I believe, 18 plus in a deficit. This was in spite of, I thought Kawhi Leonard had a pretty solid game, right? Like Kawhi Leonard, 25 points. He had a decent day. But other than Kawhi, who was good, I mean, they had a good game from John Collins. And that was it. The Clippers also turned the ball over 24 times in this game. Is that a correct stat? 24 times to the Cavs, 9. And I think the Cavs got like 44 points off turnovers today. which is obviously why this was such an ass whooping. The Cavs also shot 50-40, still struggling from the free throw line. I mean, this has been a theme for the Cavs all year, still continuing. If you're wondering how the new guys did, right, Dennis Schroeder was pretty good in his first outing, 19 points, 19 points, 19 minutes, 11 points, 5 of 14 from the field. So he wasn't great from the field, 1 of 5 from three. But I thought defensively he provided a lot of energy. Had 3 steals on the night, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. I thought his minutes were very effective. He was plus 15 on the day. And then the other new guy, Keon Ellis, 19 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 5 from the floor. And he was 2 of 4 from 3, which you'll take. He really didn't get as many meaningful minutes as Dennis. They had the same amount of minutes, but Keon played a lot at the end when it was a blowout, which kind of inflated his minute total there. Let's see what else happened in this one. Oh, I thought Thomas Bryant gave you some solid minutes. He had 8 points, 8 rebounds. There was some weirdness with him and Dennis Schroeder. I wonder if they like each other, because I remember like Jeff Teague talking about Dennis Schroeder. He's one of them dudes that like people on the team hate at times because of how he be acting. There was a couple of weird moments. There was like an inbounds at the beginning of the game where I think Thomas didn't think he was going to have to inbound the ball, but Dennis Schroeder basically like snapped at him and barked at him to make him do it. It was weird. Like you could tell it wasn't appreciated. And then like whatever happened in the third quarter where Thomas Bryant's like in the corner of the court and then Dennis Schroeder is to his left shoulder. He can clearly just leave and free up some space by going down the court, but he decides to go across Thomas. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. Maybe he was just fucking with Thomas Bryant. That's his boy. But yeah, something that didn't feel right. Jalen Tyson, I thought he was really good today. 7 to 10 from the floor, 3 from 3 from the 3-point line. In 25 minutes, he continues to look like he's gonna be a core member of this team going forward. Had a nice day from Sam Merrill, 21 points, 21 minutes, 11 points. Forgive me, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. Donovan Mitchell was fucking awesome today. He looked like a reborn man. He was doing all kind of snatchbacks, all kind of crazy shit. He did a Sham God 3 that was fucking insane. And then Jarrett Allen continues to play very solid. Had 23 solid minutes, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Really nice. I would be upset if I did not mention that Donovan Mitchell had almost a double-double today with 9 assists. He really, really tried to get that 10th assist, but he didn't get it. Yeah, all in all, this was a extremely solid performance by the Cavaliers, and it's on the line of what you want to see from this team. It's nice to see that the adding Dennis Schroeder and adding Thomas Bryant didn't disrupt chemistry too much. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the trade deadline. Will they move somebody like a Max Strus, who is, I think he's set to come back from his injury soon, because it's been 4 weeks since they said 4 more weeks for Max Strus, so he's probably, 2 weeks away. So either Max Strus is going to be rejoining this rotation or Max Strus is going to be traded somewhere. You got rid of Lonzo Ball, which I think is a net positive. Unfortunately, I was a big advocate for Lonzo Ball, but it was just a disappointment. And yeah, Max Strus, and then obviously James Harden, right? You're going to add James Harden to this rotation. That's going to, I would expect some growing pains there. James Harden is obviously an extremely talented player. We know what his faults are. We know what his positives are. He's going to be able to get buckets, but there's going to be an adjustment period more than likely as Donovan and James get used to playing with each other. That's only natural. So I'm not going to really trip about that. But, if this is what the support looks like before James gets here, I feel a lot better about this James Harden thing having a chance to work. Obviously, James Harden's reputation in the playoffs precedes him, and he's just going to have to overcome that and make people believers by doing it, because that's the only thing at this point that's going to matter for James. But I feel much better about this being able to be successful in the regular season after seeing the Cavs' momentum carry on from making the trades that they made over the last couple of weeks. So first step, first good sign. We got a lot more steps to go. I think the one good thing about this James Harden trade, well, not the one good thing. I'm trying to be more positive and optimistic about it, because I was not a big fan of it when I first heard it. But I think one of the things that is going to be good about the James Harden trade is that more people are going to be tuned into what the Cavs are doing, right? I think a lot of people tuned out after they lost that Christmas Day game to the New York Knicks. I think a lot of people tuned out. I thought that was unfortunate because it was right before the Cavs started playing their best basketball of the season. But I think a lot of people have tuned out, and they're going to tune back in because you traded for James Harden, and hopefully they continue to play very well. James Harden unlocks Evan Mobley once Evan Mobley gets back to the lineup in a couple of weeks as well. They got a lot of moving parts that they're going to add back to this, right? James Harden, Evan Mobley coming back, potentially Max Strus, a lot of guys who are going to affect the road. What's that going to do to Jalen Tyson? I mean, not Jalen Tyson. Yeah, Jalen Tyson. What's that going to do to Jalen Tyson, who has emerged as a significant contributor for this basketball team when they've been down a lot of firepower? There's still a lot of questions for them to answer. Hopefully they find a way to answer these questions in a tidy amount of time. We'll see, but this is the first game after all of these trades, the first game out of the Core 4 era. Hopefully we are excited about what's next. Y'all have a great day. Having a better night. Peace.